The perfect poem, which is an essay, not a poem. It's called The Perfect Poem. I hear helicopters overhead. They cause me to pause, wait, and listen for sirens. None come, so I relax. They're probably just someone being life flighted to or from the nearby hospital. Nothing for me to worry about. Helicopters worry me now. They were the first sign that something was wrong on Friday, November 2nd, 2018. It sounded like a whole platoon, though it was probably just one, maybe two. But they were so close, so very close. I turned up the TV, a little annoyed I couldn't hear some bingeable show I don't even remember now. Then I heard sirens. So many, and so close, so very close. What was going on over there? We assumed it was a wreck at the large intersection nearby. I kept watching Netflix and scrolling through Facebook to see if any of my friends in town mentioned anything. Then I saw it. A breaking news article posted by Allison Joseph, a poet living about 700 miles away from me in Carbondale, Illinois. There was an active shooter at a yoga studio 2 streets over from me. 1,000 feet. So close, so close. We shut the windows, locked the doors, and waited for updates. 2 women were killed, 4 others wounded, and 1 man was pistol whipped when he tried to intervene. All by an incel with a gun and a grudge against women. The next afternoon, I was scheduled to take part in Outspoken, Coming Together for LGBTQ+ and Social Justice, sponsored by 100,000 Poets for Change, and Hinga Press and Integrity Tallahassee. The poem I'd planned to read, Good and Holy, by Tara Burke, from the anthology Reading Queer, had the lines, "When I'm dead, please don't let anyone put my dead body in a casket or church. And don't let my yoga friends chant anything I wouldn't chant, or use empty phrases like, she's gone back to the light from which she came, even though I've said that before." It would either be the worst possible poem to read, or the best. I thought back to only a few months earlier, and the A World Without Guns, Poems of Protest and Memorial in March of 2018, organized by 100,000 Poets for Change in response to the shootings at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida. I tried to write the perfect poem for the event. I'd wanted to write what it was like to be a teacher at FSU in 2014 when we had an active shooter on our campus. How I had CPTSD from a more violent than most childhood, and how much harder that made all of this. I wanted to tell people what it was like to sign up for a training about active shooter protocols, only to find out that, surprise, it was a participatory simulation, which set back a lot of the progress I made in counseling. But I just couldn't get the words to come. I picked out some poems that were about holding other people accountable for their actions, but otherwise had nothing directly to do with gun violence. But once I was at the reading, my concerns about selections faded away. Some people read poems expressing their rage about the lack of gun control, or poems that read like spells of protection for their students. Some people read poems about the constancy of love, and others about change. One person even led us in a sing-along of Little Ava's The Locomotion. I can't remember who or why, but it made sense at the time. It didn't matter if I read the perfect poem for the occasion. People were at the reading to come together, to hear and be heard, to be part of a representation of what is, what was, and what could be. There was space for every voice at the reading, and that had given me so much comfort. With that memory in mind, I went ahead and read the Burke poem at Outspoken. A young man came up to me after I read. He was a regular in the yoga class that had been attacked, but had missed the night before's class due to a scheduling conflict. He thanked me for reading the poem. I'd like to say we hugged, but that would be an intentional misremembering. Most likely we gave each other tear-filled looks of recognition and compassion, looks that said, this is hard and incomprehensible, but together we can find a way through. That essay is from 100,000 Poets for Change, 10 plus years of poetic activism, a collective memory. And copies of this are still available. I'll put a link down in the comments in the description below, and you can get yourself a copy of this. So I am uploading this on November 2nd, 2023, which means we are at the 5th anniversary of the shooting that was at that yoga studio. It was not a studio. I do yoga, but it's not a studio that I go to. But it is something that is often on my mind. If I see a new person come into class, though sometimes I am the new person, right? But it's specifically if I see a new man come into class, my brain will start to think more than it wants to think during a yoga class. And I don't know if I have much more to say, more than I said in the essay. Y'all know me. Of course I have more to say. But the question is, am I going to say it in a video? No, I don't think I am. I'm just going to sit here and can enjoy the asters. We have asters, Chipola coreopsis, and pentas back there blooming. There's some Georgia asters too. You can only sort of see them. If you can see a little bit of purple, that's what those are. They're Georgia asters. Everything back there is native to our area except for the pentas, which are slowly starting to naturalize. Thanks for stopping by.